Hi guys. So as a proviso, this is a subjective video. So I started watch collecting seriously, or what I think of is a serious journey, back in 2021, post-COVID period. Until then, I used to collect fountain pens, and I realized already back then that the watch world was a much vaster scenario than fountain pens were. And I remember also a comment from a friend of mine. He told me, a much more expensive hobby. And that thought, that word kept on going through my mind. Why? Because with fountain pens, I had gone not down one rabbit hole, but a multitude of rabbit holes. Luckily, I had managed to sell most of them. And so I had a learning curve that served me, or is serving me, I hoped, because I already have 40 or plus watches in this watch collection. For this new watch collecting journey, I said I will not repeat the same mistakes. When I decided to start looking into affordable watches, not to make the same mistakes I made with fountain pen collecting. So that started my YouTube journey, and I realized the multitude of subscriptions I have related to watch channels. This gave me the idea to make this video. Why? Because I realized that my watch journey is conditioned nearly in its entirety by YouTube channels, reviews, bloggers, influencers, etc. Because me living on an island, okay, I can go to the Rolex AD or Tudor AD or Seiko, but you'll never find, it's a small community, 500,000 or less population, you'll never find the watch you're interested in over there. So you will always go on YouTube. One, to see, to learn. I get to know about new watches, and then I go into detail, and I realize that there is a structure of YouTube channels that influence my purchases or my watch journey or my watch hobby. And there are 5 main stereotypes, because they are subjective to me, right? Or categories of YouTube channels related to watches that influence my watch collecting journey. And in this video, I will mention these 5 categories or stereotypes, and also mention or list the channels that I am placing in each of these 5 stereotypes that affect my watch acquisitions or watch journey or whatever collection hobby in different ways. The 5th, there's no cliche to keep it to the end, but it's true. The 5th probably is the least expected by you, and that mostly influences my most targeted buys and acquisitions, and you'll see why.
All photos you'll see of watches inside these sections are my own photos of my own watches. I will also show a screenshot of each YouTube channel I mentioned. If you would like to go check any of these channels, you're free to do so.
So the first group I refer to as the affordable watches YouTube channels. I have some notes, so if you see me looking at a sheet, it's because there are so many channels. I wanted to try to organize them and try not to forget as many of them as possible. So why am I starting from this category? Because maybe many of you, like me, or having that don't go fast, Stuart, slow on your first purchase as a watch collector. I went to the affordable watches sector. I used to type, and these channels used to pop up. These channels usually review watches in the affordable. Now this is a subjective matter, talking about money. What's affordable for one person maybe not affordable for another, but it's generally beneath the $1,000, even much less mark, even much less beneath the $500 mark. They may have AliExpress watches, micro brand watches, whatever, name it. And many of these channels also have like paid promotions or refer to affiliate links in the description, whereby they have some kickbacks but don't affect your price, and they also state that they won't affect the way they review these watches. Anyway, they're open about it, and these were the watches I went to as not to spend so much money at the beginning of this watch collecting journey. And I'm sure that many of you, or some of you, did the same or do the same even today. Occasionally I still go and view these channels occasionally, so I used to search for these specific channels, and here is a list of some of these channels which I used to refer to or still refer to in this category. I have Just the Watch. He lives in Japan. Openly states that he does not or is not after high brand watches, but is so plumb and down to earth in his reviews. And sometimes I used to go there, I still do, to see what's up on his channel. Top tier ticket. Case in point, top tier ticket. I used to see so many of his videos that when lately he issued his own watch, Area Nostalgia again, I felt like obliged or like to help him, and I bought one. I ordered one. Why? Because in a way he was part of the initial phase of my journey. So these people, in a way, although they run these YouTube channels and have some remuneration or whatsoever, they do help other watch collectors that are searching for some watches or for ideas for watches to buy in that category. So why not? Then there was Shiny Things. Shiny Things is another channel I used to go very often, more related to AliExpress channels, watches in this case, and I did buy several of the Addis Dive watches through him, and I think even a Boltini 1921 retro. Then there is Just One More Watch. I mean, now he also, Airbus, I think, started his own watch brand. Just One More Watch is, I think, iconic in this category. I also bought the Chronos, which was the Rolex Master 2 homage, because of his review of this watch, I remember. Then there is Wes Watches. I bought the Courgette back then also, the homage to the Tudor Black Bay. I recently made a video about these affordable watch box I have, and many of these watches I bought through these influencers of these sites. Then there's the other site, I Like Watches, Watch Chris, the Mad Watch Collector. I mean, who doesn't know the Mad Watch Collector? Always getting the opinion of his wife and his extravagant way of reviewing Seikos, Casios, or whatever. No, and Watching James. Through Watching James, I bought the Perpetual. Very nice watch. Very nice find. So this was the first category of YouTube channels I identified that affected or affect a watch journey or watch collection hobby, the affordable watches. Category number 2 are the dealers and shops or websites, stores So these YouTube channels are run by people who also have a business. That does not mean that the reviews are not genuine or the watch content is biased. You just have to keep in mind that in these channels, the watches, 90%, 99% of the times that are being viewed, shown, are watches that are in the store or website or shop of the person doing the YouTube. There are also extremes in this category. I would start with the most exuberant, which is like Vocum. No, the YouTuber on 47th Street, New York, and his friends, whereby you see this flipping of Rolexes and APs. To be honest, when I got into this type of content, at first I was caught a bait. Wow, I don't have all these thousands to waste or to risk flipping thousands, 20, 30,000, 7,000. Like, it's nothing, you know? I said I'm in the wrong hobby. But then I started understanding that it's part of the culture in that area, part of the vibe of these type of channels. Mind you, in these videos, even Tuscany Rose, etc., I would grasp more quickly details about Rolex's difference between a type of Rolex or another. So we're talking about higher end brands in these type of 47th Street YouTubers, higher brand watches, but you start grasping the details, differences in prices, etc. I would also occasionally, if I see, for example, Rolex or a high-end brand being advertised on local websites or local social media from Ireland, I would double check the price on these YouTube channels to see. Let me see how much it was going on there. Even when I go on Chrono, I double check with these sites to see. Listen, is it way too? So cross reference too. Then there is another channel that I still follow occasionally, which is the big machine, the Honest Watch Dealer, is UK. Again, has a shop boutique of high-end watches, luxury watches. He mainly reviews Rolexes and similar, but he goes into detail about market updates. So it's not always reviewing a watch to sell. He goes into the detail to comparing watches of one era with another. So I use his channel also to get more into certain Rolex market trends or similar watch trends as well. So I'm going from one extreme of this bracket I mentioned to another. Then there is, I follow Federico Talks watches, not only high-end watches, he's got an online store too, but also vintage watches, and he makes occasional reviews on watches which are vintage too. So I find him very interesting. Next on my list, there's no hierarchy, but I think the range is going from one extreme to another in the type of content you see. For example, there are YouTube channels like the 1916 Company Watch Reviews. For example, when I was going to buy my Omega Seamaster midsize, I had seen a review on this channel about that watch. They have all types of watches, all types of reviews, but obviously also refer you to the website for eventual purchases should you be interested. However, they are very informative reviews, so they are different than the exuberant Vocum YouTube channel content, but they are more detailed and specific to that particular watch being treated in that video particularly. They're more focused. Then there is Watchfinder and Co. I must admit, I used to follow this channel much more before, when there still was Andrew Morgan, which was from the creator of that YouTube channel. Another YouTube channel. This second category is time and tide watches. Many times it would pop up. I would see some review. So very informative too, like the others. And in the other spectrum of this category, I listed one of the channels of Teddy Baldassar. It is the channel that was created in 2020, which is the Teddy Baldassar, just name it, channel with 169,000 followers. No need for an introduction, very detailed reviews, specific, informative 360 degrees on the watch being reviewed, which he also states in the channel that are available for purchase in his stores as well. So are they biased? No. Is there any other intent? Well, yes, it's a stated intent. The eventual purchase should be you be interested. But I think this is a very important second category of watches. To round up, thus, it ranges, the content of these channels range from pure business to actual reviews, from normal, medium, average range watches to higher end watches. So you either click for availability, should be interested from those stores, or for the content in itself. Category number 3 is influencers. So the YouTube channel of the influencer. I named it that way. So these are people that talk about watches, many times review new releases, but not they would talk not only so about the individual watch, but they would diversify about their opinions on certain aspects of the watch world. They post regularly. Maybe some or most of them do monetize too, but there is always content, and this is the bigger of my niches of these YouTube channel categories. It's my modern TV. I'm a 53-year-old guy, so we had the TV. It's my discovery channel. You see, all these influencer YouTube channels about watches keep me adjourned, up to date of what's going on, what's what, and sometimes make me buy watches. I would say several or more than half of the watches I bought because of these contents. I will mention a couple. You must buy this or this, or you'll fall for one or another. Watches I wouldn't have seen before, and they talk about. And even in these channels, there are various not categories, various characters. So I would start with this watch, that watch. Very aplomb guy, to the point, very serious person, very meticulous watch reviews, open, and states what he likes, what he does not like, gives you an insight about the watch industry or that watch in particular. The watch bros, I mean, who doesn't know the watch bros? Several reviews about several watches, several arguments. Adrian Barker, which is now atypical, which is extravagance and personality in the reviews or in his content. Oisin O'Malley. Here we're going into another extreme where this is not purely a watch reviewing channel, but also he sometimes goes into other aspects of life or modern politics, etc. He makes regular lives every Friday, for example, which I would follow. It keeps me entertained, So he will talk about micro brand watches, higher micro brand watches, high end watches. Through him, or because of his review, I had bought the Caranardo Siena Orologi Mediterranean, beautiful watch. So these channels may discuss watches that cost $200 up to watches of $2,000 or more, or thousands of dollars. There's a whole range. You've got Nico Leonard. So he was, for me, first. He started because of Pride and Pinion, his online store, but now he is one of the let's say, influencers or personalities in this watch content industry, which is extravagant reviews, or not actually reviews, many times opinions, or his unique way of talking about watches and getting attention. Very interesting. Then there's the Watch Geek, which is more serious type of review channel. Case back watches, for example, through this guy who has short reviews. These people don't necessarily have to have the watch in hand with watches they review. That is a point which I would like to highlight. Not all of them actually have the watch in hand they are reviewing. So many times case back, or sometimes he does not, but he goes in detail according to the website, the watch website details, etc., and he will guide you. And I bought the Baltic, the Blue Gilt, because I was influenced by his video once. Then there is Andrew Morgan, which now has his own channel. He detached himself from Watchfinder and Co. And Andrew Morgan is an iconic storyteller. He does not review watches. He goes into that depth, the story about a watch and the world around it, and how he comes to his arguments. Something really, really entertaining and deep. You've got the anachronist, sorry, which was previously WatchCrunch, Jenny Ellie, Brit Pierce, Chris Orm Hunter. Now, because of a video I had seen on Chris Orm Hunter's channel, I had bought the Seiko SPB383. He had reviewed the SPB381, which is a diver GMT, and I was looking for a good Seiko buy, because I had only one Seiko watch. I'm not a Seiko enthusiast, but I wanted to buy that Seiko watch that scratches off most or all of the itches of Seiko. And for me, this fit in that spectrum. He was referring to as perfect or nearly perfect. I eventually then also made a video myself about this watch once I had bought it. Then there are people like Jeffrey McMahon, not thousands and thousands, I think 11,000 followers, but he is more probably not a very well known YouTuber, 11,000 followers, but he's a US teacher, and mainly Seikos, and now he's into G-Shock Castles, but he talks about aspects of his life and watch collecting that are really interesting to watch. Thoughts, psychology behind, really interesting. I invite you to go and check his channel. Paul Thorpe was once a store owner, but then another personality in these YouTubers. Peter Kotza, photographer, a very direct, precise YouTuber, no nonsense. Hudinki, online watch magazine. I mean, there's another channel that I watched a lot of times for several reviews. The Urban Gentry. So, name it. This is my main list for number 3 category, the influencers YouTube. Category number 4, no list. He is the one-man icon for YouTube watch content, which is Teddy Baldassar. His other channel, his main channel, the one with 1.43 million followers, the one that he created in 2014. I mean, if I have a purchase that I'm now going to do, be it a micro brand or a higher end watch, I would finally go to look for this watch review on this site as a signature, like the final signature before my acquisition, before claim. I will do it, because he will give you a complete, comprehensive review of that watch you're interested in. So for me, he is the category for watch reviewing, not watch content, for watch reviewing. Right? I mean, he got the acknowledgement by Rolex, giving him the premiere of the Land Dweller recently. So he is acknowledged, and chapeau for the good work, excellent work he provides to us, watch community. The last category, category number 5, the one I told you at the beginning, you will not expect this, is the random. What do I mean by that? These are not the other type of video, watch YouTube influencers, watch influencers, or stores or dealers, etc. They are the YouTube channels that pop up when I am interested in a particular watch. For example, recently I bought it, interested in the Omega Seamaster mid-size, the Casino Royale, but mid-size. I have a 16 centimeter wrist, and I wanted to be sure. I couldn't try it locally. There was no AD that had it or anything, that I'm doing the right choice. So I had to type in Omega Seamaster mid-size, small wrist, and these video channels were popping up. So they are those channels that will pop up when you insert the watch name in the search YouTube button. They are some YouTube channels that pop up, maybe the ones in category 3, influencers, or the ones I mentioned earlier. But these reviews by persons are that actually own the watch, not that are reviewing a watch just for content. There's nothing wrong about that, but that actually have a watch, experience it, and would like to do a video about it. Those are the people I actually go to, these that pop up randomly when I really want to buy a watch, when I'm serious about something, because there is a first-hand experience, genuine experience, and they give you examples or tell you what's what, And I may see 10 of these videos before then going to the Baldassare too, but before buying this watch. So these, for me, of the 5 categories, this is one of the most important. So it's not the daily category that pops up. It's not daily that I go to look for a particular watch, but when the time comes for that purchase, yes, this is the category that is very important. This last category is also one of the reasons my channel is, I think, less than 2 months old, why I decided to have my channel, because it's a first-hand experience. That's why it's called Watch My Watches, because I will only talk about watches that I own. I'm trying to keep it this way. So I give an experience and show it to other people who may be interested one day. They'll search this watch and my video will pop up. And to give them a first-hand experience of my watch acquisition. So this was also one of the reasons why I started this channel, to follow this category 5, help to other fellow watch enthusiasts. So I brought up JAX next to me, came actually next to me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Comment, tell me if I missed out or I should follow other YouTube channels, and which category you would put them, or maybe there are other categories you suggest I should include. Hope you enjoyed this video. Jack say bye to the guys. Hope to see you next time.